Bevy Smith coined the phrase, "it gets greater later." And that got me thinking, does success have an expiration date? Let's talk about it. I don't know about you, but growing up, and I think even as a young adult, I thought of life as a straight line with different milestones that all of us had to reach by a certain point, by a certain time, if you want. And that those who did not reach those milestones in the time frame that was set by, society, that was the norm, were failing or were missing something. And it was about avoiding being that person at all costs. And so discovering through life that it wasn't the case, and that on the contrary, you could just embrace not hitting those milestones and having milestones of your own, that not reaching the milestones that everybody told you you had to reach by a certain point did not make you a failure, did not make you somebody odd, or that even if it made you somebody odd is good, right? Everybody's odd to somebody else. So that's really what life taught me. Life is not a straight line. And the beauty of it is that you get to zigzag. Sometimes you get to go back and then come back. Sometimes you get to step back to the side of the line on one side or the other and get back on it or not. And you get to write your own story. The milestones that you reach are your own, and you're running your own race. That's really what life taught me. Let's take Bevy Smith as an example, since she's the person who inspired this whole video. And she actually coined the phrase, "it gets greater later." It's trademarked. You can check it out. Don't make t-shirts about it because she already got it. So anyway, Bevy Smith she's an American TV personality. She has a syndicated radio show. She wrote a best-selling book called Revelations, I think at the age of 55. But her big break was at the age of 45 when she was on TV on Fashion Queens. I think that's when I saw her the first time. But I think I also remember reading her work in magazines like Vibe and The Source, hip hop magazine, and she was, interviewing people, but also I think she was talking about fashion as well. And so fashion was her passion. But before that, at the age of 38, she quit the career that she had before, which was in corporate. I don't remember exactly what she was doing, but it was corporate. And she was not happy. That was not what she wanted to do. And then she made the switch to fashion. At 45, as I said, she got her big break, and then her life just took off. It wasn't a straight line. Again, after the big break on Fashion Queens, she had setbacks along the way. But the lesson in all of that was that at some point, she realized that she wasn't happy in the life that she had before. I don't know if it was a choice of hers to go into corporate, or if it was just the thing to do at the time, or maybe her parents encouraged her, or maybe it was just okay, I have a degree in that, so maybe let me just go in there, make my money, and then whatever. But she decided at some point that it wasn't the life that she wanted to have. And then she took a leap by leaving the corporate job that she had at an age where, for a lot of people, you're set. You're just thinking, okay, I have a good life. I have a job, even if I don't like it, that's fine. I'm making money, and what can I do at that age? For some reason, and I don't know if it's the same for you, but when you're very young, you think that 38 is very old. And even for people who are 35, they think that they're already old and that, they should have everything together, when you can actually start something all over again at the age of 35, even later. And that's what she did. So 45, she gets that big break. And then now she's on TV. She has a best-selling book. She's hosting series of dinners with celebrities. I think they're still available online, I believe. And they were just like interesting conversation and things like that. But she made a life that she loved, doing things that she loved. But it didn't happen when she was in her, late teens, early 20s, or mid 20s. 38, she quit and started over. And then she kept doing different things. And I think that her story is really a testament to what can happen when you take that leap, or when you don't let circumstances or society dictate what your time frame is, what your timeline is, what the important milestones are for you. She doesn't have kids, she's not married, and for a lot of people that would be like, oh, what is she doing? But she's fine the way she is. She has the life that she wants. And I think for everybody, I think this is what we should aspire to do. Granted, I feel like it's a luxury, because when you're in survival mode, you might not be thinking about, can I have the life that I want? But I think it's important to keep that in the back of your mind and to still thrive for the life that you want, even if you don't have the means to make it happen right now. Take me, for instance. I'm not Bevy Smith, and I'm not aspiring to be her or to do any of the things that she's done, except maybe the book, a best-selling book. Why not? A syndicated radio show? Why not? Like a podcast or something like that. I would say, why not? But all that to say, I'm not aspiring to her life. I'm only aspiring to my own life, because I've discovered the value of my own life. It wasn't always the case, and I had to go to therapy to even discover who I was and the fact that I was worthy of having dreams. Because before that, I didn't think that I could dream aloud, like a lot of people were, because I didn't think I was worth it. I didn't think that it was for me. So I was living a life that was good because it had been guided by good people, my parents, and a lot of people who believed in me, but it wasn't really my life, until I went to therapy and discovered who I really was. And I was able to start asking myself important questions like, now that you know who you are, what do you want? Where do you see yourself? Ideally, if you could have anything, what would you want? Where would you go? What would you do? And I had never asked myself those questions. I never allowed myself to ask those questions. I don't even think I took the time to even think, okay, I need to start asking myself those questions, because I was all about everybody else. And I wanted everybody to accomplish their dreams. I was working hard to help people accomplish their dreams, as my brother when I was his agent, basketball agent, out of love and necessity. Quite successful, but nevertheless, I couldn't do any of that for myself because I didn't think that I deserved anything nice. So I was putting everything in everybody else until after therapy and after I'd done the work. And that's what got me back into school, into a program that I actually chose and that I loved, really, really, really loved. And then that's what got me to considering moving here after another very consequential conversation with my dad, where he asked me, what I was going to do right after I graduated that second time. And before I even was able to answer, he said, I know, you're going to work. You're going to look for work. Knowing you're going to find work, and then that's all you're going to do. And I was like, okay, yeah. Is that bad? But he said, why don't you go on vacation? And I was like, going on vacation when I don't have a job? Am I being pranked? I wasn't being pranked. My dad was dead serious. But he said, why don't you go on vacation? Not just about anywhere. Why don't you go to Canada, and specifically in Toronto, because you've been talking about it for a long time. And I didn't even realize that I'd been talking about it or that anybody had paid attention. He did, and he had. So it took convincing, but I did. And it was the best thing after therapy that I ever did, because it allowed me to see that there was a place that could feel like home. And ultimately, I moved here before the age of 30, a couple of years before that. And really, it was the beginning of a new chapter of a life that I dreamed of and that I was going to fully take advantage of. And I'm still doing that to this day. So that's what I have in common with Bevy Smith. At some point, things had to change, and I had to take control of the story that was going to be written about me. I could write it myself, and that's what I did. And I've continued to do that. And even though some people might look at my life and say, well, you're not really successful, look at you now. But I think I am successful in my own definition of success. My ambition is still intact. My health has made things a bit more complicated, but I think I'm successful. I've accomplished things that I've wanted to do. I've even accomplished things that I never thought about until I actually did them. And so that's really been an amazing thing to experience. And this is something that I really encourage people to stay open to. Like, I took the LSAT at 41. And for some people, that's like, what are you even doing? I don't know if I'm going to do anything with it. Well, it's going to expire at some point. But I may have to do it to take it again and then decide, I'm actually going to go to law school. The one that I have now could get me into law school because I had a good score. But all that to tell you, this was something that I wanted to do. I studied hard for it. It was very hard, but I did it. And you had asked me when I was 15, it would have never even crossed my mind, but I did it at 41. And some people go to law school at 50, 58, 60. Sometimes it's just for them. Sometimes it's actually because they want to practice. We all have our timelines. We all have our milestones. And it's very important to do things that you want to do. I know that when you're in survival mode, that might be the last thing on your mind. Absolutely. Trust me, I know. And this is also what I've seen a lot growing up. People in survival mode who didn't really allow themselves to dream or continue to have ambition about certain things that have nothing to do with what other people thought that they should do, but things that they really wanted to do for themselves. They didn't allow themselves to do that because survival was the most important thing. And I understand that. Trust me, again, I know. But it's also important to still keep that in mind. What are things that are really important to you? That can be small things too. Having smaller milestones. I'll give you an example. When I was bedridden, the milestones that I had for myself, ultimately, yes, I wanted to get better. Ultimately, yes, I wanted to get back to work, but I had no idea when it was going to happen. So it was either I was going to stay there in that position and think, well, I'm only going to move when I'm better or when I'm able to go back to work. But see how it was not going to happen if I didn't do anything in the meantime? But also what I did was starting to have smaller goals. Like if it took me less time to go from my bedroom to my bathroom, which are not very far from each other, than the day before, I would celebrate. If I was able to make tea for myself and then take the cup all the way back to the living room without dropping it because my hands were it was a big milestone for me, and I celebrated that too. Overall, I just started that idea of having smaller goals in between the big ones and going after every single one of them. You're not going to hit all of them, but in the process of trying to get and reach them, you're going to do some amazing stuff for yourself, and they have nothing to do with anybody else. I may have mentioned it before, but I'm very ambitious, in the traditional sense of it, having big dreams and big goals and going after them. But I've also realized through life that ambition is not always about the big dreams. It can be that, and it's beautiful, but it also can be about what brings you joy. What are the things that you really need in the moment? And with my health And the fact that this is so unpredictable that I have no idea what's going to happen throughout the day, let alone throughout the week or throughout the months, throughout the years. There's so much uncertainty that I have to find joy, and I have to find things that make me happy, that give me peace. And right now, ambition and success for me look like stability. They look like financial security. Looks like good benefits. It looks like freedom, being able to be flexible, to have flexibility in the things that I can do, be able to take care of myself. This is what success and ambition looks like for me. And as I already mentioned, it has not always been that the case. I was always striving for big stuff, and I had to recalibrate. And I love that recalibration, and it's going to continue to happen. It's been amazing to, at different point of my life, rediscover who I was and what I wanted, and that sometimes it would be something really, really big, and sometimes it would be something that other people might think is small, but to me it meant a lot. And that's really the message that I have for everyone. Find those things that bring you joy. Redefine ambition and success for you, for yourself, not for everybody else around you. It's good to want to make other people happy, like your family members, your parents, everybody, but you're never going to be able to do that. Never. And at the core, you need to make yourself happy. And you need to be able to live comfortably with the life that you chose for yourself. Otherwise, it's not going to be good. Ultimately, what I want you to take away from this video is that it's your life and you get to live it at your own pace. Success and ambition are personal and you get to define them. Whatever it is that you say they are, that's what they are. Don't let anybody tell you that you're too ambitious or not ambitious enough, because it's according to their scale, not yours. And they don't live your life, you do. So take control of it as much as possible. Let it be what it is. Let life, as we say, but run your own race. Don't look too much to the side to see what others are doing. It's nice to aspire to emulate what other people have done to get to where they are, but not too much, because then you get lost and you forget about your own race. And you don't want to do that. As always, thank you for watching. Thank you for being here week in and week out. I really appreciate it. I'm going to continue to say that until the end of time. Or maybe not. Please like, subscribe, comment. I would like to hear about your definition of success, ambition, what you think about It Gets Greater Later. Anything really, please comment. I would love to hear from you. And I will see you in the next one.